Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Alex here from Carnivore for Life. It's another day, another video. I'm delighted today to invite a very special guest of mine from the UK. It's Sarah. She's from the Carnivore channel. Well, you tell me, Sarah, you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your Carnivore channel and a bit more about yourself.
It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because you stole my channel name because I was Carnivore for Life, and then Alex came along with Carnivore for Life, and I thought, well, he's lost more weight than me, as most people have, so you have the channel. And, I'll change mine to Healthy Carnivore UK. I've now changed it to Imperfect Carnivore because everyone that follows my channel knows that I've been in this game for a long time, but not perfect. So it's important that people know that right from the off. That I've had health
Absolutely, yeah.
benefits even from not being perfect. So do you want me to start off with my previous dieting history,
Yeah.
or
Well, no,
I
just
can
tell us a
touch
bit
on
more about yourself personally. Yeah, just tell us a
personally?
bit more about yourself personally. Yeah, where you're from, what's your job background, how you maybe started Carnivore all those years ago.
Okay, okay. Yep, I'm Sarah. I live in the UK. I've Let's just go back to my earlier life. Comfort eater right from the off. Was trained how to be a comfort eater from the start. And on my first diet at 19, my story is pretty typical of women my age all over the world. Women of my age have
Hmm.
generally got the same dieting history as me: low calorie, low fat, high hunger, high misery type lifestyle that ended up breaking our hormones. And now in our later life, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, we struggle to lose the weight. It's pretty typical. And then I discovered Slimming World when I had my first baby and thought, oh, great, I can help people because I've always wanted to help people. That's why I've set up this channel so that I can try and help people. And so I discovered Slimming World and I became a consultant. And I did lose weight back then, but then I was younger and lots of the younger women were losing weight. But it's fairly typical. Women of the 40s, 50s, and 60s were not losing weight, and the men were, which is pretty typical. Whichever way you eat, it's always the women of my age that are struggling. I ended up quitting that because I just realised that people were not losing weight on that lifestyle. It's only now that I realised they had hormonal problems. So yeah. So when did I find Carnivore? I'm guessing that's how you're going to want to know how I found that. In
Yeah, I
2004.
mean, sorry, I was going to interrupt and just say when I first came across your channel, I was really gobsmacked by how long you've been
Yeah.
aware of it, and when you started, so that really got my focus and attention. And obviously, I started watching and I say the more I sort of listened to you, and I thought, this lady's got a really good story to tell, haven't we all, if we're on Carnivore? And I thought, I kept following your channel. I've tried to promote it a little bit. I'm really pleased that you've put loads more content on. And I
Thank you.
think, I've noticed that your subscriber level's gone up a hell of a lot. So we'll talk about that later. But I
Yeah.
just think from what you've told me that, a lot of people in the UK and across the carnivore world would be really interested in your story. So tell us when you actually found out about carnivore, what year?
Yeah, it was 2014, which is 9 years ago
Uh,
now. I
yeah, yeah,
was obese, a lot heavier than I am now, much bigger than I am now, not sleeping, tired, anxious, depressed. I was pre-diabetic. I had a 40-inch waist. I had gastritis, psoriasis, a whole list of more niggles. Really, at that age, I was about 38 then, so I had niggles. Not it hadn't gone into bigger health problems, but it would have done had I not found carnivore. I think had I
yeah,
not found carnivore when I did, I would be in a lot more trouble with my health. I would be a lot bigger than I am now. I know that I'm not at target, but I think that if I hadn't found carnivore when I did and have pushed on with it, I'd be a good 50 to 100 pound more now than I actually am because as I said earlier, I'm a big comfort eater. I was trained to comfort eat from an early age, and if it hadn't been for these long stretches of carnivore that I've done, I would be upwards of 50, 100, 150 pound more than I weigh now. So, it's all about damage limitation for me, plus a bucket list of health benefits that I've got all written down here that even, my message is it's okay if you're imperfect sometimes and you can have loads of health benefits even without being perfect. So that's my message. And there's a lot of us,
yeah.
Alex. So there's a lot of us who are imperfect carnivores, and most people don't want to talk about it. And I'm championing for those people. There are a lot of people out there who have found out about the carnivore journey, but for some reason or another, they've been distracted. I mean, I will talk about my mum's passing briefly, to talk about
Yeah, of course.
trying to make excuses for myself. It's just that women of my age tend to have a lot going on. Men do too. We've all got a lot going on, looking after parents and children at the
Yeah,
same time. And sometimes we're not perfect, but we can get health
yeah,
benefits from, you know, just doing the best we can. One of my mottos on my channel is doing your best looks different every day. And I think that's important. As long as you're doing your best
yeah,
with what information you've got, that's all you can do, really. Um,
yeah,
so I
absolutely.
think you're probably going to list off my health benefits. I've probably missed out a few things. Let me tell you how I found carnivore quickly before I tell you about all the big long list. If it wasn't being talked about, well, if it was, I missed it somehow. In
Yeah,
2014, as I said, I was obese and lots of things going on. And I was really looking for a change. And I decided to give up sugar, lose a bit of weight doing that. And then I gave up wheat, lost a bit of weight doing that. And then I was on Twitter following different people that were having, health people. And for those of you, you've probably heard of Amber O'Hearn. I've been following her for a long time. She's been a carnivore for a very long time, along with Kelly Hogan and all the others. And her husband was on Twitter. I believe now it's her ex-husband. And he said to me, well, it's amazing that you want to give up sugar and wheat, but what else are you prepared to give up? And I was like, oh, I don't want to give up anything else. I'm quite happy with that, thanks. But being the curious, open mind that I am, I thought, right, let's find out what else I can give up. And he said, well, my wife's carnivore and she's the perfect weight. And I just thought, well, that's a bit crazy. So I started off with keto for a few weeks. Within a few weeks, I'd already found the carnivore community. I'd landed in the Zeroing In on Health Facebook group, which was pretty much the only Facebook group at the time going. They'd only been going for a small amount of time. There's only about 1,000 members in there. There's now like 35,000 in there. And
wow,
very quickly fell into carnivore, very quickly found some health benefits. And it was amazing. And I just thought, wow, this really is how we're supposed to eat. I've just cured. So I was managed to cure some health problems that I thought couldn't be cured. And these were the list of health problems that I've reversed. I reversed very, very quickly from eating just meat. And this was amazing to me.
wow,
I'd reversed pre-diabetes and ended up with perfect blood sugar, which this year it is perfect. Last year it wasn't, but I'll tell you why in a minute. I reversed insomnia. I cleared up lifelong psoriasis. I solved gastritis, so I no longer had bloating, nausea, and gas, and acid reflux, all the problems associated with dodgy digestion. I sorted out my monthly cycles. I have a cycle of a teenager. I cleared up my head. I had no brain fog, depression, or anxiety, and that does run in my family. So I was really excited to think that all I have to do is just eat the proper human diet and I can be free from those things. No more overactive bladder, no carb cravings, no hunger. And as I've said, I've lost 5 inches off my waist, but only 25 pounds off my weight. But like I said, I could be, well, I don't even want to think about what weight I would be had I not found the carnivore diet. So it would be a lot more than that if I had carried on the way I was going back in 2014. My goodness me, I would
yeah,
be
yeah,
easily a lot bigger. No more tooth sensitivity. I never have any cold symptoms as long as I'm strict. And no joint pain. I can switch my pain on and off in my knees. If I'm eating right, no joint pain. If I'm not eating right, the pain comes back. Loads of energy, bouncing around. I'm 47, nearly 48. And, as long as I am eating correctly with carnivore, I feel amazing. Bouncing
yeah,
energy, joy, and find life very interesting, which is a far cry from when I'm bigger. And I don't find life interesting. I just want to just go and crawl in
yeah,
a hole somewhere. So I know the right way for me to eat. My body tells me.
yeah,
Proper human
absolutely.
diet,
Yeah.
carnivore.
Are you
So it's quite
are you still sorry, have you still got a goal to lose more weight?
absolutely. I am struggling now. I had a bit of trouble last year in that. Well, it's a bit difficult to explain, but I got distracted last year because my mother passed away. I will talk about her health in a minute. I've got a laundry list of things that were wrong with her that I'm trying to avoid. And last year, I did lose my mum, and I was her carer in the last few months, and I wasn't paying attention to my own health. which is quite common for women of my age to be looking
Yeah.
after the kids, looking after sick parents at the same time, and your own health just goes to pot, really. My blood sugar did go up last summer. I think I had a lot of high cortisol, a lot of stress, and that did result in very heavy periods all of a sudden, which has ended up with my iron very low. And now I'm playing kind of catch up. I'm now trying to focus on my health to try and get where I need to be. I want to lose another 30 or 40 pounds, and I know that will come with me just concentrating and being persistent and concentrating on my health. I know that sounds bad. I mean, I'm not pleased that she's gone, obviously, but it's I've got a big long laundry list of health problems that I had to grow up watching her suffer, including the PCOS. I know that you wanted to talk about women's health in this video.
Yes.
I've just
Yes.
rambled on a bit, but
Absolutely.
the answer is yes, I do want to lose more weight, but my body is stubborn at the moment. I've had to put the scales in the loft because my body has clearly got at the moment, you
Yeah.
know. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
women like that, and it's and they don't want to talk about it. I think if you're a carnivore that's not losing weight, you get called out for being a liar. You're not really doing it because you're a liar, and it's you know, we just keep going. And I know I feel best eating
Well,
this way, so I'm gonna.
yeah. Oh, I want to endorse what you're saying by saying we do need more female or ladies, female UK carnivores coming on,
Yeah.
because I think we've got a good balance in the US. But as I say, you are probably treading a lonely path as a female at the moment, and I
Oh,
think it's
very
vital that, particularly, I mean, there's family members of mine. I won't mention anybody, but they understand what I'm doing, and I know the benefits that they will get. Obviously, the females I'm talking about. But as I say,
yeah.
I'm not their boss. I'm not God.
No,
I've got to just show people, not tell them,
exactly.
because as you probably remember on my videos, when I told people about this, I suffocated them. It was
Oh,
very hard. But as I say, I want you, as I say, I'm going to praise you today. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
sorry, Alex. I've had to stop talking to people about it because people are not really interested in my story, because most of the things that I've
Yeah.
fixed are all invisible things. And until I've actually got down to target weight, people are not going to be interested. So I thought, let's just get on YouTube, talk about my journey, get some followers.
Yes.
And if I can help just one person, if I inspire just one person, great. Because I'm not inspiring people in
Yeah.
the real world, because the people in the real world are still seeing that I'm carrying around weight. And until you've lost that, it's hard to be a role model. It's a shame, but it's fact.
Yeah. I totally agree. I noticed that with my channel. I mean, I'm quite a sensitive soul, and in the early days, we got lots of comments about my appearance, and
Yeah,
my reaction was, "What's my appearance got to do with anything? It's all my mental benefits, my physical health benefits. It's nothing to do with how I look." You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah,
obviously, if we were just doing podcasts where there was no visuals, people would get it probably quicker.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think it's quite brave setting up my channel. I had to really, really think about it because I know I'm
Yeah.
going to get abuse. I have had one person saying, "If you were eating just meat, you'd be very thin. You're a liar. Stop lying to yourself and us." And I just thought, but what about my health benefits? What about all this stuff, good stuff that's happened? What's
Yeah.
wrong with that? You
Yeah,
know?
that's exactly how I feel too. Right, before we go any further, just to lighten the mood a bit, I'm going to ask you 10 or 11 questions, okay? It's
Okay.
was it a quick fire round? So you've already told me,
Okay.
but the questions are, I'm going to take them off the screen. How old are you, Sarah?
I'm 47. I'll be 48 in January.
Okay, you don't look it.
Oh, and you don't look it either. You see, carnivores look young.
Yeah,
I
yeah. First job after, what was your first job after school or college?
think. I was working in an office, just as administrator, until I had my kids,
Okay, yeah.
and now I've been working with
All right.
kids ever since.
Okay? What's
Sorry,
your favorite steak? What's your favorite steak?
steak. Oh, always ribeye.
Yeah,
I've just had a
yeah.
ribeye. Had a ribeye, yeah, fantastic. And
Excellent.
I always go to the shop to get them to make sure they've got the biggest amount of fat in the middle for my hormones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I've
Okay,
been learning a
next
lot more
one.
about them. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, sure. What's your favorite carnivore meal?
I can't really afford my favourite carnivore meal. I wish I could eat it every single time I eat, but that would be ribeye drenched in butter with some salmon on the side and some king prawns drenched in butter on the side. Sadly, I
Sounds
can't do that
appealing.
all the time. If I could afford to do
Yeah.
that every single day, I'd probably be at my target weight by now. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Fair enough. Okay, next one is we talked about health benefits already, but what's your best health benefit for you so far?
Health benefits so far. I think it's just um, being able to control my weight, because even though I don't really lose it, I do maintain very, very well. I'm not out of control. And but for me, my biggest reason for still doing carnivore is all the things I'm trying to prevent. But that's another story, because I know you've got more questions to ask. But I think being able to control my
Yes.
weight, being able to control my cravings, I know that all the while I'm eating this way, my weight's not going to go up, and I'm going to feel amazing every time, all the time. So
Yeah.
just feeling great. You never get bored of feeling
Okay.
great.
No.
That's it.
No. Absolutely. Okay. This is another health one. Besides the post-Portugal holiday illness,
Oh,
when was the last
that's
time
not
you when was the last time you were ill?
4 years ago, and I was off the wagon at that point. If all the
Right.
while I'm carnivore or in ketosis, I do not get sick.
Okay.
So as you just said, a month ago, I did go to Portugal with my son for 4 days, and we did decide to relax the carnivore a little bit. I've come back with a bit of a cold. Fabulous. It's now gone, but I won't be doing that
Yeah.
anytime soon. It is 4 years ago the last
And
time I was poorly. I
next
used to get sick.
question: any hobbies? Yeah.
Any hobbies? I like dancing. I love making videos though. That's become my new hobby. Trying to help people is become my new hobby. When I'm not doing Zumba and doing my dancing, my most important hobby is making videos to try and inspire people. I just want just one person to change their life as a result of me. So that's my hobby at the moment.
Fantastic.
Talking to you, Alex, that's
I'm
my
sure
hobby.
that's happened. Okay. How many children have you got?
I've got two. I've got one nearly 18 and one nearly 12. My eldest came on holiday with me a couple of weeks ago, so that was really nice. They're not
Okay.
carnivore, and neither is my husband, and neither is anyone I work with. So when you say it's a lonely path, it is a lonely path, and that is one of the reasons I get distracted sometimes, because you want to be
Yeah.
kind of normal, but then being normal ends up making me feel ill. So I get back on carnivore because I don't like
Yeah.
feeling ill.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I wonder what normal is nowadays.
Yeah, it's a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want,
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to be eating all of the things, and then as soon as I do, I regret it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. Okay. Number
Yeah.
9. Your favorite band or music?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what. There's so many. There is so many. You should have asked
Choose
me
one.
that before. Then I could have planned it. Oh no, and now I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to ask me again in a minute when I've thought of it.
Okay.
Um,
I'll tell you what mine is. I'll tell you what mine is.
Go on.
I'm showing my age. Roxy Music.
Oh, I was more into the Bangles. Let's go with the
Oh right. Yeah.
Bangles.
Okay. Cool.
There's so
Uh,
many. I love
next
it.
one. Next one. Number 10. What's your favorite YouTube channel?
Oh, your channel, of course.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I am quite addicted to Home Said How at the moment. I am addicted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Kerry and his Home Said How and his new documentary, and I hope it gets made. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm watching his every day.
And the next one,
Yeah.
last one is, well, as I say, don't say me. Who's your favorite YouTuber?
I love Kelly Hogan. I love the way she's morphed over the years. In the beginning, she was very much just eat your meat and drink your water, which is great advice, perfect advice. But I
Mm,
think she's getting a lot. She's getting a lot of clients coming to her that are struggling, and she's having to go a lot deeper. A lot of the online carnivores are um, they're doing a lot more research now. The advice has moved
mm,
from just eat your meat and drink your water to let's check your thyroid, let's check this, let's check that. Are you doing this? Have you got,
yeah.
let's get some blood work done and see what's wrong. Like I found out that my iron was low as a result of one of my lovely viewers suggesting it. And I'm
Yeah.
now doing whatever I can to get my iron up and hoping that solves all my problems. So yeah, Kelly, I love the way she's grown over the years. Obviously, I was following her 9 years ago, still following her. So yeah, Kelly Hogan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. That was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Right. So let's go back to what we were saying before about health, not benefits, but health challenges, particularly with your
yeah,
mum. Do you want to just talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, I'll just very briefly talk about my mum. She was born in 1950, right at the start of the low fat message, the the cut all the fat out, and her mum
Yeah.
totally fell for it. My other grandmother didn't. This one, she's amazing. Let's take a look at this little. This is my inspiration. She's my other grandmother,
Wow.
but my mum's mum, she just totally fell for it. And my mum was obviously on a very, very low fat diet right from the off. She suffered with terrible PCOS in her teenage years. She didn't actually call it PCOS, but I know that she had issues there. This led on to her struggling to conceive me with infertility. This led further on to, and this whole time she was low fat. This whole time, um, led to a full hysterectomy at 38, which I had to go through with her. I was 13 at the time, so I had to look after the house, do all the washing, doing all the dinners. I was basically had to grow up very fast at 13. Then I had to help her through a thyroid removal at 45, and and those two operations alone led her onto full-term medication, which I'm trying to avoid. Happy to say I'm on zero medication and plan to be for as long as I can, basically. She had a full hip replacement at 64, a bowel resection at 70 as a result of stage 4 cancer, and then sadly passed away last year at 71, which is, I think, too young. And I believe from all the research I've done with Elizabeth Bright, Dr. Elizabeth Bright, I recommend her to any female who's struggling. I think it's all just that very low fat diet from a very low age, just traumatized her hormones. And she's just ended up on medication for this, medication for that. And following in her footsteps, I don't want to end up like that. I had to help her out through all that, and all of those things caused stress. The last 3 years of her life were devastating for my health. I'm still playing catch up on that. The amount of stress I went through,
Mm.
and I don't want to go through the hell she went through with her health. And I think that eating, high fat carnivore is going to prevent me from going through what she. I hope. I hope. I know that you wanted to talk about the PCOS, didn't you, with the in terms of the female health?
Yes, yes. Well, just touching on that, I'd never heard of PCOS. I do have a
No.
family member who's had
Yeah,
that diagnosis, and
yeah,
I think from the medical profession point of view, they haven't mentioned diet at all to the family
no,
member, but obviously I have, and
yeah,
that particular member is working on the carnivore diet,
yeah,
steadily losing
great,
weight,
yeah,
feeling good, but it's very, very stressful. I mean, I'm not a woman, but speaking to my family member, I've had other members obviously go through situations with the menopause, and
yeah,
I see the connection with diet or metabolic straight away
absolutely,
as a probably
yeah,
as an ignorant man, but as I say, the PCOS thing is absolutely fascinating to me, and it's was it polycystic ovarian syndrome?
syndromes. I think
Yeah,
so. I think so. My mother never used those
yeah,
four
yeah.
letters, but when she described to me what was wrong with her, it does sound like that.
Mm,
So I don't know
yeah.
whether the name of it happened later, but I know she had cysts in her ovaries that had to be removed before she could have me. So she
Wow.
had to have those removed,
Wow.
and that ends up with a
Yeah.
hysterectomy when I was 13. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, following in her footsteps and going through all of that, and just briefly touching on this other grandmother here that I wanted to talk about. She lived a very, very long time with not a single thing wrong with her, never medication, and she was
Mm.
actually married to a butcher, and she ate a lot of fatty meat. She literally, they had two
Wow.
chest freezers full of fatty meat, and she never ever once fell for the low fat message. And she's the healthiest person ever to go through my family. And so what she does is all right by me. And so I rather follow in her footsteps than of my mum's, because my poor mum, she's just health problem after health problem. I don't want to go through that. There's also a
No,
history of
no.
depression
I
in
think,
our family as well.
yeah, yeah. I was going to say though, it
Sorry.
sounds as if your mum went through hell.
Yeah. And I kind of went through hell with her
Yeah.
because I was her right hand man her whole life. My dad was pretty useless because he had
Mm.
depression. My brother was pretty useless because he had depression. So I was the
Wow.
strong, capable one. And that's another reason why I do this, because I know that when I'm carnivore, I'm strong and capable physically and mentally to handle anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when she
Yeah.
passed away last year, I was her main carer. She didn't want the hospice involved. So I literally had to move in with her and deal with her
Mm.
every requirement, from drugs to the stoma bag that she had. I forgot to mention she had a stoma bag.
Wow.
She was incontinent as well. And so for the last few weeks of her life, I was living with her. I'm not trying to get excuses here. I'm not trying to, say, oh God, be sorry for me. But it is why my health took a dive last year. And I think that's why my body now is like, I don't want to lose weight now. You have got to fix yourself. You've got a lot of work to do on your hormones. You've got to get your stress down and everything. And I don't want to
Yeah.
follow in her footsteps. Yeah. And I've got a
No, of
severely
course not.
depressed for 10 years. So I
Mm.
don't want to follow in his footsteps as well. So
No, no.
I
Well,
will.
as you say, let's talk. Sorry, let's talk about depression then, because you did touch on that.
Yeah. My father, severely
So,
depressed forever. And my brother has had severe 10 years depression. When I say severe, his marriage is broken down. He doesn't see his kids much. He's lost his job. He just lays on the sofa all day. I've tried and tried and tried to help him. I managed to get him to go keto for 3 weeks. It did help, but then he quit and hasn't gone back to it yet. Every now and
wow,
again, he says
wow.
to me, I must do that meat thing, Sarah. I must do that meat thing. But he hasn't quite built up the courage to just get on with it yet. And I remind him all the time. I send him videos. But I cannot stand the thought of being ill and of anything. And when you've been in the carnivore community for 9 years, you start to realize that it's going to fix a lot of things. A lot of things. It's not a miracle, but it's certainly close,
No,
I think.
yeah, yeah.
And you just got to
So,
judge by the way.
sorry, so I was about to say you've been 9 years carnivore on and off. So
Yeah.
let's talk about when you are off carnivore. What made you stop doing the nutrition journey and why?
So it's the main reason over the last 5 or 6 years is because of the fact that I struggle with the weight. And when you're eating, such a, I don't want to call it restrictive. I mean, that sounds negative, but when you're eating very differently to everybody else, and you're not going to the staff room for the
Mm,
cakes, and you're not going out for the evening because you decided it's just not worth the bother, and then months and months go by, the scales stay the same, and you're like, to hell with it. I'm just going to have some time off. So it's
yeah,
normally,
of course.
if I was able to lose weight doing it, I would be so slim. I see people that are losing weight rapidly doing it and they stop. And I think, why did you stop? The weight's falling off you. I wish.
Yeah,
Gosh, if the weight fell off me when I did this, I would be tiny. And so I don't
yeah,
like being called a liar like this because I just think, oh. And then the other
yeah.
time would be obviously the problems with my mum. I every time my mum had a big health problem or a surgery, I'd move in with her and live with her and help her. And
Wow.
my own health just went out the window. So that's why it's imperfect. That's why it's bumpy. But this year has been my
Yeah,
best year. I've had more carnivore keto days this year than any other year so far. I've been on it probably 90 to
yeah,
95% of the time this year, which is really good for me. And I know that with everything I'm putting into place, that it's going to
yeah.
come right for me.
So go
Yeah.
ahead.
I one fantastic thing that's come out of my channel is that I have people following me who are worried about the fact that I don't lose the weight. And one lovely lady said to me, "Have you had your iron checked?" And I said, "Well, how can I be low in iron with all the red meat I eat?" And it turns out that you can get low iron from being a tea and coffee drinker, which I was, and also the very, very heavy
Right.
periods and cycles I've had in the last couple of years has caused my iron to be low. So I thought, let's get a full blood test done at the doctor's, and that was the only thing. They couldn't find a single thing wrong with me. My thyroid was fine, my cholesterol's fine, everything's good. But the only thing they wanted me to come back to them on was the iron, which was very low. So I'm now supplementing on a hunter-gather
Right.
supplement, which is freeze-dried lamb hearts and freeze-dried lamb kidneys and liver and things like that I've quit the tea and coffee, which is a bit of a upsetting thing in the UK because you know what the weather's like, Alex. We like our warm drinks, and now I've given up my most favourite thing, tea and coffee, to try and get my iron up.
Yes.
Because apparently, if you are very, very low in iron, it's almost impossible to lose weight. I recommend looking out Dr. Paul Mason, who did a fantastic video on how he had a client come to him and she said, I'm doing keto, I'm doing it perfectly. Why am I not losing weight? He took her blood panels, found out she was low in iron, gave her an iron infusion, and the weight started falling off. So, there are things I'm working on. I'm also taking iodine as well to make sure my thyroid is working correctly. So, I'm doing things. I'm just plodding on the way I always do. But I think there's a voice for the imperfect carnivore. I don't think we should have to be stifled, muffled. I don't think we should. I think we should still be allowed an opinion. I think we should still be allowed to celebrate our journeys. And I'm out there, waving the flag for the ones that are not doing it perfectly all the time because of life getting in the way or whatever reason. But yeah, I can't wait to actually say I've lost all the weight. But when I do lose all the weight, I'll give you the exclusive. It's going to happen one day. I don't know when.
Yes, I must admit I am really having a great time. I'm day 18 of my Lion Diet experiment. It's going really well, better than I expected. The first week, I was so hungry. I was eating 2 and 3 steaks a day. It was crazy. And also, I realized I was hungry about 11 o'clock in the morning instead of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think because I'd lost all my, was it subcutaneous fat, or my body was saying, we need more fat, we need more protein. So Sarah, let's have a look at your channel. It's Imperfect Carnivore UK. Last time I looked, well, when I first looked at your channel, I think you had less than 20 subscribers. So where are we up to today? 465.
Not many, but then I haven't lost
so
all the weight yet.
Obviously, you're starting to. No, but what I'm saying is your story is definitely starting to resonate with people. So, guys, when this is actually published on YouTube, go over to Imperfect Carnivore UK and subscribe to the channel. You won't be disappointed, guys.
Yeah, and I might even put my hat on at some point today.
Oh, that's the best one. That used to make me laugh so much.
Oh yeah, next time I'm off school, there'll be a lot of this going on. I'll do some cycling around the lake and do that. Yeah.
It definitely suits you.
If it makes someone laugh, then I've had a good day. It's a good day. But my mother used to say to me, I've just noticed something else I had written down there. She always used to say, what makes people fat? It's fat. That's why, and it was a teenager. I thought, well, that's it then, isn't it? And she used to say, what makes fat? Fat. And I just thought, and as it turned out, her avoiding fat caused her a lot of grief. And, but actually, another thing I wanted to talk about was, I've been following Dr. Elizabeth Bright a lot recently, and she has been talking about the fact that women of my age, we have to up our fat. And that's young girls too, people are just not eating enough fat in general for their hormones. So I have upped my fat now, big time. I'm doing a bit of an experiment now.
Okay, question.
Oh, question.
Yeah, question. Who is Dr. Bright? Yeah, who's Dr. Bright?
Well, it's Dr. Elizabeth Bright, and she's I think she lived in Italy. She grew up in America. She had a lot of problems as a child with body image, and so she did a lot of fasting, a lot of low calorie, low fat nonsense, and destroyed her own hormones. And now she, as an adult, she now coaches women into how to avoid that happening to them. She's got quite a big client base. What she doesn't know about hormones isn't really worth knowing about. And she said, we've got to get our animal fat, we've got to get our cholesterol in, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. And she's helped a lot of women start losing weight by massively upping the fat, and so that the hormones can finally be healed from all the damage from all the yo-yo dieting. I don't know all of her credentials. You'd have to look it up. In all of her videos, she talks in the beginning about what her qualifications are, so you can decide whether to follow her or not. But I'm taking a lot of notice of her at the moment. She's a big advocate for the thyroid and for the iodine and for eating as much fat as possible, really.
Okay. Well, hopefully, I
Credentials.
was going to say, hopefully, I'll put a link. I'll put a link to Dr. Bright in the description at the end.
There's some
So
great videos that are in it, and I'm still learning new information, and I'm learning information
yeah,
that I wish
yeah,
I'd known about 10 years ago. When I
mm,
very first found Carnivore, like I said, it was just eat your meat, drink your water, which is great advice. But now I'm finding a lot more information. A lot more is coming out in the last
yeah.
couple of years that's going to help women like me finally get where they want to be. So
Okay,
that's it, really.
excellent. Right.
Any question?
Yeah. Next one. What about skepticism from your family and friends? Has it been positive or negative?
In the beginning, very negative, but I've been doing it for so long now.
Mm,
People just accept it. I'm just that person that eats a lot of meat. In the beginning, when if I had a takeaway and something, the meat turned up that was breaded, my family would be like, "We're not going to eat that then." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to eat that now." And there was a lot of negativity. But now I've been doing it for so long, people just accept that I'm that one that eats a lot of meat, and it's all cool. No one bothers to argue with me anymore because I've been doing it so long. But in the beginning,
yeah.
hard, and it's obviously still hard going to work because I've only been in my new job 2 years, and they don't understand me. So I just go and sit and eat in my car. I eat my breakfast in my car. I go and have my lunch in my car
Wow.
because I just don't want to be around all of the foods
Mm,
that they're eating because it makes me feel like I'm not normal in some way. And that's a shame because it is our correct, proper human diet. And we shouldn't be made to
absolutely.
feel like we are doing anything weird. We're the ones eating properly.
No.
And it does frustrate me a lot. And when
Yeah.
you talk about when I'm off the wagon, I don't eat the healthy foods that they tell you to eat either. I have avoided fiber for 9 whole years because of my gastritis.
Mm,
So I don't eat the pulses
wow.
and the seeds and the grains. And so if I am off the wagon, it's going to be just a slice of bread or a bit of cake or something like that. I'm not going to go, oh, I'm going to start eating whole grain cereals or nuts or seeds or those or greens and leafy greens are disgusting to me. So I haven't touched them in 9 years. And I think that's going to do me a lot of
Yeah.
favors moving forward. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Would you say your palate has changed?
I I still like the taste of the other stuff because it does sometimes creep back in.
Yeah.
But luckily, I love fatty meat. I love fatty meat, and I can have it completely plain. No one else in my house can believe the way that I eat. Everyone else has got to have the variety and
Mm,
the side dishes and this and that. And I can happily just sit there with a piece of completely plain meat, completely happy, completely happy. It obviously suits me to eat all this fatty meat, and more than happy to do it. Just sometimes wish I
yeah.
got the
Yeah.
results that you got, Alex.
What about doctor visits? Have you had any doctor's visits lately or any bloods done?
Well, I avoid the doctors. I don't trust doctors. My grandmother,
Mm,
that was really healthy, didn't trust the doctors. So I avoid them unless I absolutely have to go there. The only reason I went there was to get the free blood test from the NHS. I thought, right, we pay all these taxes in all these years. Let's get a blood test out of it. But I will
yeah.
avoid them. I don't go unless I absolutely have to. And if I keep eating like this,
No.
I think I can keep avoiding them. You know, everyone I know
Yeah.
is on medication.
Absolutely.
Everyone I know is sick, and I don't want to be sick
Yeah.
or on medication. So I keep
Yeah.
going. So no, I don't go to
Totally agree.
doctors.
No. I haven't seen my doctor for 5 years.
No,
Crazy.
I hadn't
Yeah.
until I went to get them for blood test. I can't even remember the last time I went to the doctor. And I don't think I've
Yeah.
been to the doctor in the last 9 years at all,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
great. Yeah, and I don't want to go.
Are you taking it? No. Are you taking any medications at all?
Absolutely none. I refuse to take
Yeah.
medication.
Very yeah.
Yeah, my
Very
mum
nosy
tried to
question
get
that,
me.
wasn't it?
My mum tried to get me on medication back in 2014. She tried to get me on antidepressants, and I resisted and resisted, and ended up on them for a couple of weeks, and then stopped them because I'm just so anti any medication. It's like that. I heard a brilliant quote a couple of weeks ago where somebody said, when you're ill, you're not suffering from a medication deficiency. You're not ill from a medication deficiency. There's something
Mm,
else wrong with you. The cause is deeper in there. You are not
yeah.
suffering from not taking a statin or not taking this or not taking that. That's not what's wrong with you.
Absolutely.
The problem is
Yeah.
most likely what you're eating. You're not doing your proper human diet. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
That's
Well, the next thing I wanted to say was, I know you've changed from being healthy carnivore UK, but you do look really healthy. So you're definitely doing
Thank you.
something right.
I feel very
Yeah.
healthy. People like are always saying to me that I don't look my age. I don't. I I try to keep that up. Thank
Mm.
you, but thank you for something's working, and it goes to show that you can be imperfect, still have good results. My gastritis was awful when I was young, and my psoriasis was
Yeah.
awful, and I don't have those things now. It's not all about the
Yeah.
weight. You get frustrated when people only talk about the weight, but sadly, people are only interested in your weight. They're not interested in anything else. And if you
Mm.
haven't lost all the weight, they don't want to hear any further in your story. They're not interested, and that's
Yeah.
sad because I've got lots of
Carry on.
benefits. Sorry, and it's all the
Absolutely.
things I'm trying to avoid, all that stuff that my mum
Yeah.
went through.
Yeah.
I've managed. By the time my mum was my age, she'd already had lots of surgery. She'd lost a full reproductive system. She'd lost her thyroid, and I, fingers crossed, haven't lost anything yet. All my body parts are all intact, and I
Wow.
want to keep it that way for as long as humanly possible. And so that's
Absolutely.
why I keep going.
Incredible. Um, Supplements. You mentioned about Dr. Bright. So what
Yeah,
supplements are you taking?
I'm taking J Crow's, the Lugal solution. I was
Yeah.
taking 2 drops of 5%, I think it is, and now I'm on 3 drops. Because even though my thyroid's in the normal range, it's not in the optimal range. So I know that my thyroid needs a little bit of work. So I'm just trying to get it, move it through the normal range into a more optimal range.
Mm.
And I'm also taking the Hunter and Gather liver, which is the lamb heart,
Oh, yeah.
lamb liver thing. And that's it. That's all the supplements I'm taking. And that's only
Wow.
because I've been
Okay.
advised that I just need to get. But that's the only thing that's possibly wrong. I don't take any other kind of multivitamins, minerals, anything like that.
Yeah.
No, no, that's
Okay.
it.
Let's get back to food. What was your diet like? Typical diet before carnivore?
Oh, awful, awful, and also low fat as well because I've been a slimming oil
Mm.
consultant, so I everything was low
Yeah.
fat, and it was I didn't realize it was awful, but it obviously was because I
Mm.
had a 40-inch waist and now I don't have a 40-inch waist. So, I'm eating a load
Wow.
of fat and I've got a 35-inch waist. And when I was eating low fat, I had a 40-inch waist. So clearly it wasn't good for me. But also, I had bouts of
Wow.
gastritis all the time. So I was eating foods that, so I had a lot of diarrhea and nausea and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, my diet was
So
just everything like that: toast for breakfast and then always hungry. So always snacking on biscuits and cakes because I was always hungry
mm,
because my food was never. And I've never had a single day without meat. I
wow.
literally have never had a vegetarian day in my
Mm,
life, which I'm proud of. So there was always meat, but all
mm,
the fat would be trimmed off. You know, I didn't eat streaky
yeah.
bacon and fatty steaks and things like that. It was mostly just junk food
Wow.
or low fat misery food and sweets. I like my sweets.
I come to you and I say, look, I've heard all about carnivore. How do I start? What do I need to do, Sarah?
Well, start do a lot of research first, because if you jump into it, don't know why you're doing it, you're not going to see it. But you've got to have a very strong why, and you've got to do a lot of research. If you've already got a strong why and you've already done the research, just jump straight in. Jump straight in. Don't delay. If you feel happier giving up the grains first, then the sugars and the solid oils, and then easing into it, that's fine. You can do it quite quickly. Some people are fine. I mean, I could switch in and out of ketosis without even noticing I'm doing it now. So
Mm,
I don't have any problem with that. But if it's the first time, you may experience some slight brain fog, some bit of tired, irritability. You might have sweats. But make sure you have a strong why and do your research. Because my brother, I tried to encourage him to go carnivore, but he did no research. He didn't know why he was doing it, and he didn't last long because he didn't have that drive. You need a drive. You need to have that
Yeah.
that feeling inside of, I absolutely want to fix this, this, and this, and I am going to do all the research and keep researching, because there's a lot of answers out there that take years to find, as it turns out, from
Yeah.
me. But jump in. It's a proper human diet,
Abs-
you know. But humanity, one person at a time with this. So
Absolutely.
that's it.
Okay, Sarah. So we were talking about Healing Humanity
Yeah.
dot movie, which is the passion project from Kerry on Homestead How. If any of our new viewers are looking today, check out his channel. He's got loads of
I
products
don't
there.
have the right T-shirt on. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. Have you got one?
I have. I've got I only eat meat. Ask me why. And I
Wow,
forgot to put it
brilliant.
on. Yeah.
But but as I say, the actual project is coming on leaps and bounds. And any new viewers, guys, please check out Homestead How. Check out Kerry. He's just incredible what he's doing for the carnivore
Yeah.
community and basically for humanity. Sounds a bit heavy, but it's a fact. But
True.
let's get back to talking about Sarah and Imperfect Carnivore. What I will say is, I mean, your YouTube handle is "We Are All Imperfect Carnivores," and I think it's a really good title.
Yeah. 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 I did
Yeah,
a video this week calling Imperfect Carnivores out because I want them to come and join. I
yeah,
want them to speak up, because there's a lot of people out there that know we should be eating this way, and they're not speaking up because they're embarrassed because their journey isn't perfect. I think it's quite
yeah,
brave having a channel like this. But I'm
absolutely.
fed up I'm fed up with hiding. I want everyone that loves the carnivore diet to start speaking.
Yeah,
Even if your
absolutely.
journey is bumpy and you haven't lost all the weight you want to lose, I still think you have something to say, and I think everyone should start shouting a bit louder, especially with this war against meat and trying to take meat away from us.
Yeah, I
That's the
agree.
main reason for the channel. I think we need to be shouting a lot
Mm,
louder. They can't
yeah,
shut us all up.
I totally agree. I think we are in well, it's not a battle; it's more like a war.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. Yeah, it's been going
Yeah,
a long time as well.
yeah, absolutely. I just
Mm.
wish, in a way, I'd come across your channel 9 years ago.
I didn't have a channel 9 years ago, though. I only
I
set it up
know, I
last
know.
summer. I only set
Yeah,
it up about 4 or 5 months ago, which is amazing.
yeah, I know.
I always wanted to.
Yeah, I'm just
Sorry.
wondering what would have happened. Like, let's say I met you in a like a coffee bar, and you said to me, "I'm doing a thing called the carnivore diet." I'm just wondering how I would have responded to it because
Yeah,
I remember when I was in my 30s or 40s, there was a colleague of mine when I was working in local government. He was doing the Atkins diet, and he
yeah.
lost a ton of weight, and I was interested, but he said, "Don't do it, Al. Your breath will stink."
Oh no.
So
Oh,
that's why
it's only in
that's
the
why I didn't
beginning,
do it.
though.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but
So
people always say to me though that on these channels that they wish they'd found it earlier. But would
yes,
they though? I
absolutely.
think you've got to be in the right place though to find it earlier, because 15 years ago, perhaps if I'd have found this, I would have been like, that sounds absolutely crazy. Why would anyone do that? I think you've
Yeah,
got to be in that right place where your health problems are significant enough and that you're
yeah,
willing to try something new. Otherwise, you're just going to poo-poo it.
yeah,
I talk about this diet all the time,
mm,
especially in relation to women's hormones and things like menopause and stuff like that. And people just poo-poo it. They laugh at me.
mm,
They give me that sort of glazed look and just carry on.
yeah.
Because one thing I'm
I
trying
agree.
to avoid is having horrible menopause. And apparently, if I eat high fat carnivore, I'm going to completely sail through menopause and not
Wow.
suffer any of the consequences
Yeah,
of the journey.
yeah. I hope so.
Because yeah, I mean, one thing that Dr. Elizabeth Bright says is that it's not actually menopause symptoms; it's adrenal fatigue from
Mm,
years and years of a combination of stimulants like caffeine and things like that, and a low fat diet. And so, if you've
mm,
had a caffeine habit all your life and you're on a low fat diet, you're going to have an awful menopause. But if in your 30s and 40s you eat loads and loads and loads of butter and fatty meat, you are not even going to get a single symptom, because your adrenals will be fixed, your hormones are all fixed, everything's fixed, and your body will just glide through it, and you won't even know it's happened.
yeah,
And I don't know if that's true yet, but I'm damn well going to find out.
absolutely. It makes me quite cynical about. I mean, now that I'm 65, I've I've got lots of years to look back on, And
Yeah.
I did used to bow to authority. I mean, I used to trust the medical profession,
Oh, yeah. We all did.
everything. Yeah. And I suppose, like, even at my old age, it's never too late, really. We can change, can't we? Because
Absolutely. We can all
as
reverse.
you well, I know you've watched a lot of my videos, but this
Yeah.
is this is the best I've felt since my
Yeah.
20s and 30s. It's
100%.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you say
And
your
I can
thought.
switch how I feel on and off. If I want to feel
Yeah.
rubbish, I'll just go and eat what everyone says you should eat.
Yeah.
If I want to feel great, I just eat the things they say not to eat, and I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
uh,
this is the first time we've spoken face to face, but you come across as somebody,
mm.
I would say, in the 30s. I'm not patronizing, but you seem to have you seem to have an energy level, and as Kerry says, you've got that carnivore glow.
oh well, yeah, I do feel like I do. I do feel like I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And when I
Fantastic.
eat correctly, I feel absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, but there's no profit in healthy people, is there? They don't want us to be healthy. I don't want to
No,
get
no.
controversial on you, but
Mm.
there's a lot of money to be made from people that are sick. So get
Yes.
them as sick as possible.
Yeah. As I
I
say,
didn't
I'm
know
the
the
same.
video was going to go that way, but I said it. I said it.
Well, I'm the same. As I say, I think about 10 years ago, when I, shall we say, woke up to a lot of things, it was only because of YouTube I was able to sort
Yeah.
of like go down rabbit holes, not too far, because I think if you do it too far,
Oh yeah,
you,
you can go too far.
you can never
Yeah.
climb out of them. So I
No.
mean, I'm a bit of a Victor Meldrew. I mean, you know who Victor Meldrew
Yeah.
was, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, all I see nowadays is medicate or operate, and that's what's happened to me over the last 10 and
Absolutely.
20 years. My
Yeah.
doctor, who, I mean, I'd say I haven't seen him for 5 years, but it was right,
Brilliant.
Alex. As soon as I came with a problem, he would go onto the prescription pad, or the
Yeah.
prescription book or the
Absolutely.
medical book. And I've
Yeah.
never ever had a doctor say to me, "So, what are you eating?" Ever, ever.
Exactly. The what are you
Yeah,
eating question never ever comes up. And even
I
if it
know,
did,
I
they
know.
wouldn't know what to do with the answer because they don't have any, training in it. So
No,
even if they did
exactly.
ask you what you were eating and you listed it off, you
Yeah,
know, they're still not going to give you any good advice because they're not
yeah,
trained in what is the proper human diet that's going to be featured
absolutely.
in Healing Humanity documentary.
Yeah,
In 9 years, I'm absolutely convinced this is the proper human diet. And I've experimented and I've gone this way and that, and nothing makes me feel the way eating just animal products makes me feel. So
yeah.
I know
I,
how I'm going to be going into my 50s and 60s and 70s. I know
mhm.
already how I'm going to eat the vast majority all of the time.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's great. I mean, that's how I feel. Did you watch that video with Ken Berry when he was talking about me? And he was saying to
Yes, I
Kerry,
did.
yeah,
I saw that.
Alex is what a
A
65-year-old
65
should
year old
look like.
should look like.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh God, it was incredible. And
Yeah.
I
I
can't,
could look
you know,
even better. I could be even better. If I hadn't messed about, I could be, well, I'd look amazing as Kelly Hogan. But,
yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm
Well,
imperfect. So
I was about to say that if you'd have started your YouTube channel 9 years ago, imagine where you'd be today. Just phenomenal.
I would be at Target because I like to think that I would have spent more time on YouTube and the information that I needed that I was looking for, I would have
Mm,
probably discovered sooner.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely, definitely. And
amazing.
the YouTube channel is keeping me in line as well because people now are watching me and I've got now, I want to keep
Mm,
going for my viewers
yeah,
who've been amazing. I've had some fantastic support.
yeah,
99.9% positive,
yeah,
definitely. It's been
fantastic.
amazing.
So
I love having a chat.
your channel's now got what, 465 subscribers?
Yeah. I haven't tried very
Yeah,
hard to promote it though. It's still in its infancy. I'd love it to grow in time.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I like it because you are just yourself, and it's very real. I love the
Yeah.
way you sit in the car and have a chat.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
I go on a bike ride and put my bike helmet on and just, say,
yeah,
yeah, this is my lake that I'm standing behind and you eat your meat. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so for
I'm a
any
bit
viewers today,
crazy.
guys, well, that's what we want,
Sorry.
don't we? That's what we want. We want crazy carnivores.
If I can make people laugh as well, then even better.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we need.
absolutely.
I
Well, you
should have
do.
called myself Crazy Carnivore.
Yeah, you still can.
There is another channel called Crazy Carnivore. I already checked that one out. I'm
All
not going to
right.
do
Yeah,
on their
yeah,
day. Yeah.
yeah. It does sound to me as if you are enjoying yourself.
Oh, I love life. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love life.
yeah,
I
great.
get up
Yeah.
every morning and I have no trouble getting out of bed at all.
Mm,
Whereas my brother, who sadly is not eating the proper human diet, he doesn't
mm,
get doesn't really become awake until about 2 p.m. You know, and is
mm.
living on
Yeah.
a combination of nicotine and caffeine. He's
Wow.
I mean, he must have such severe adrenal fatigue. I mean, you know, his cortisol must be off the
Yeah.
scale. But I can only work on me. I can only fix myself and
Mm,
hope that I make an example to somebody else. That's all we can do.
yeah. Can I be nosy and ask how old he is?
Oh, he's 2 years younger than me, so he's 45.
Yeah. That must be
Yeah,
really
and
frustrating for you. Yeah.
it's been very upsetting. It's very
Yeah.
upsetting.
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
years now he's been suffering.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I said earlier in the interview, his marriage is broken down. He's not
Wow.
working. Um, so and I have tried and tried. I send him links to depression videos and carnivore videos all the time. Not all the time. I don't annoy him, but if he asks me for help, I just send him another video and
Yeah.
hope that one day he'll reach that point where he goes, okay, I'll do
And
it.
does he ever respond to the videos or does he react to them?
Not really. He doesn't say anything back. He just
No.
doesn't talk to me for another few weeks until he gets
Wow.
desperate again. And then it's, oh, Sarah, can you help? And I'll send him another video, and he won't watch that one either.
No.
I think
No.
people have got to be, like I said, in that right place where they want to change.
Yes.
You've got to have a
Yeah.
very strong why and a very strong desire to change. And if you don't have those two things, I don't think you can do carnivore. You've got
Yeah.
to really want to. It's not fun and games
Absolutely.
doing it.
No.
I'd
No.
much rather sit around eating cake and biscuits and chocolate, but I know that's just not going to get me the health I want and the
No.
vibrancy I want.
No.
Feeling good.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go, talk about social occasions. How do you manage them if you have any social occasions at all?
Well, I don't drink, so I'm not the best, most funnest person to go
Mm,
out with because I stopped drinking a few years ago. But then I'm good for being the taxi driver. But
yeah.
if I'm gonna eat out, I'm going on a Christmas dinner with my work colleagues in a couple of weeks, and thankfully they have chosen a restaurant that is very meat based. So I'm excited because that doesn't often happen. Normally I'll have to eat before I go, or just
Yeah.
hope that there's meat there, or take the night off. Don't advise that behaviour at all. It gets you nowhere. But luckily, this time we are going to a very, very meat based restaurant, and I'm going to be taking part like everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't go out as much as I did in my younger years anyway, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's great. Yeah, I'm the same. I like cooking, so my
Mm.
my coo- my cooking now is not complicated. It's so easy.
Oh, not healthy. How do
Yes.
you cope with your job? I mean, how do you cope because you
Well,
work in a
you know, it has been documented. I retired in 2008 at the age of 50. I was in a stressful civil service job,
yeah,
but I didn't want to retire. It just came along. They said, "Look, you can have
no,
voluntary early redundancy. Here's your package," and it was just too good to refuse. So the
yeah,
first 12 months, about a month after I retired, I had my knee replaced because I had osteoarthritis. So,
yeah,
on reflection, I think I wouldn't have had to do the operation. I wouldn't have had osteoarthritis, but that's another story.
yeah.
And for those first 12 months, I just sat in the house bragging to everybody that I was retired. I started drinking more, just watching
Oh,
TV, watching videos. But fortunately for me, I volunteered as a swimming coach at my local centre because Sophie was a top swimmer, and she still is.
yeah,
And one of the teachers there, Liz, said to me, "Alex, you're really good with the kids. Why don't you become a swim teacher?" And I was like, "Huh, I'm retired, don't you know?" And she goes, "No, Alex,
yeah,
we need someone who's a bit more mature. We've got no male teachers." So I took my exams, took all the courses, and a couple of weeks later, I was a swim teacher. So
yeah,
crazy contrast from when I was obviously in my job. And I went from 9 to 5 to, well, actually, it was like probably about 8 till 7 every day
yeah,
to just doing hours when I felt like. So for the last 15 years, I've been a swim teacher. Great times. I've been working with top Olympic swimmers when I worked for a company called Total Swimming. I worked with Rebecca Adlington. I worked with
Oh, right. Yeah.
Becky Adlington
Yeah.
Swim Stars. I had a fantastic time, but then obviously the lockdowns came along, which I don't want to touch on,
Yeah.
and it was all wiped away completely because I was self-employed. Then when
Mm.
lockdowns were out the way, my local sports centre asked me to come back, and for the last well
Yeah.
since lockdowns, I've been working for them. It's kept me fit. I mean, my weight's been fluctuating all the time, probably like you said, yours does. But as I say, I just think to myself, I got out of a depressed state through Carnivore. When I
Yeah.
was 63, 62, 61, I was really feeling depressed, feeling down, thinking, is this all life is? Is this all I've got to carry on with?
Oh,
All always worried about lack of control after the experience of the lockdowns. But as I
yeah.
say,
Yeah.
in April last year, I came across you. Was it Fat Fiction? And as you say, you're in the right place at the right time. And
Yeah.
as I say, my all my videos have been doing since. It's probably been probably the best 18 months of my life so far. So anyway, that's the
Yeah.
answer to your question.
And it must be nice not to be constantly around a staff room that's full of cakes all the time, like it is in a school environment. I
Yes,
am
yes,
seriously having to consider where I'm going with my life, because I don't know how
yeah,
much more I can cope with having to go and sit in my car, because I'm just
yeah,
constantly surrounded by treat food and cake, and that's
yeah,
going to get worse over the next few weeks.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
I only,
I love the school I work at, don't get me wrong. The
yeah,
people I work with are absolutely lovely. The kids are great,
mm,
but it's the food environment.
yeah,
It's the fact we had a cake sale on Friday, and I have never seen so many it was an all school cake sale, and I've never seen so many
wow,
cakes, and I had
yeah.
to avoid it, and the smell was intense. And then I had to help sell the cakes at the end.
Oh my God,
And
oh my God,
honestly, the smell was overwhelming, and I can promise you I did not touch any. I came home and I had my steak, and honestly, I'm on the wagon, but that
yeah,
was hell, and I'm seriously considering how I can get out
wow,
of that, because
yeah,
as a trained comfort eater, somewhat, I think if you're a comfort eater all your life, that never really goes away. You can manage
no,
it, but that urge to comfort eat when you're irritated never completely goes away. It doesn't for
no.
me. I can be, carnivore for
So,
week after week, month after month, and still feel the urge to comfort eat if something goes wrong. So I need
mm,
to seriously think about where I'm going with
yeah.
my career. Yeah.
So, what's a typical day? I mean, for example, for me, I only eat well before Lion diet. I used to eat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock. So that was fantastic for me. There was no,
Yeah.
I was at home before I went to work to do swim teaching. When what you get up in the morning? When do you first feel hungry?
I generally do eat before school, but that's mostly because I don't really get the opportunity to eat when I
Yeah,
fancy it. It's better for me when I'm on the school holidays, because then I can control it.
yeah,
But it's not necessarily amazing for women to fast. I know men can get away with it more than women
mm,
can. Women's
yeah,
hormones tend to get a bit trashed with a bit of fasting. So I tend to eat the 3 meals in the day. I tend to have, I
right,
eat at at 8, 1, and 6,
right,
and space my food out like that. I've
yeah,
thought about fasting, but it hasn't really got me anywhere, and it does make
no,
me more vulnerable to want to comfort eat. So I'm happy to eat at those regulations 3 times and eat the
mm,
right thing. Because if I try and do any kind of intermittent fasting, it can leave me vulnerable.
yeah,
Especially if I turn up in the staff room and there's a million cakes out there and I haven't eaten for a long time and I'm
yeah,
irritated. I'd
mm,
rather not leave myself vulnerable. I'd rather just be full. I'd rather
yeah,
just know I've got meat in my belly, and if I don't lose weight that way, it's tough. I'm
yeah.
healthy, you know.
I find that when I'm busy, I mean busy activity wise,
Yeah.
I don't even think about food. I mean it's
Oh
three
no, it's
forty.
easy then.
Yeah, it's
Easy.
3:40 p.m. and I
Yeah.
haven't I've had nothing today,
All
and
right.
I'm not
Men to get
hungry.
away with that better than women. No, no.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously after the interview, I'll be having a couple of ribeyes.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
may not be properly fat adapted, because I did have that 4 days off in Portugal with my son, so I've
yeah,
now got to get that fat adaptation back. But my blood
yeah.
sugars are perfect. I tested them; they're still in the 4 point something. So I
Mm,
haven't done any major damage, but I will
no.
continue, and I'll be going right through Christmas as well. I'm very good at doing it at Christmas. It doesn't bother me at all.
Mm,
Some people plan to take time off. I won't be.
yeah,
I'll be going right through the winter, right through my birthday. no problem whatsoever.
Yeah,
I love it.
fantastic. Okay, speaking of Christmas, what are you going to eat on Christmas Day?
Well, we probably will have some turkey, but I'll be supplementing mine with a bit of steak. I don't care what the
Yeah,
mother-in-law says. She'll be
yeah,
having all her trimmings and her low-fat business, and
yeah,
I'm definitely going to have a ribeye with mine. Probably be some pigs in blankets as well.
yeah,
So it'll
yeah,
be turkey, pigs in blankets, and steak for me, and everyone
yeah,
else can have their roast potatoes and whatever else they want.
yeah. Me too.
And
I
for
think.
in the morning, probably some scrambled eggs and a bit of bacon in the morning.
Yeah.
And for an evening, some carnivore style treats. I'm not on cheese at the moment. I haven't had cheese for about 130 days. So I'm going to miss that this Christmas. That's going to
Yeah.
be interesting because normally I like to have a bit of cheese at Christmas.
Mm.
So I've got to decide
Okay.
whether I want to sacrifice my psoriasis or have some. I haven't decided yet.
Right. Well, look,
Yeah.
I'm going to close it down in a minute. I want to say I could talk to you forever. I've been
Thank
really
you.
no
I can talk
seriously.
forever.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to this for a long time because when I first saw your channel, I thought the first thing you did was you make me laugh. I chuckled and I thought to myself, I'd love to interview Sarah. I kept calling you Susie as
Oh,
well for
thank
some
you.
reason.
Oh,
But
that's so nice. I don't know
yeah,
what you
but as I
mean.
say,
I don't know what you
yeah, I
mean.
love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Keep it
like to
on.
go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it on. So let's finish it there. I was going to say thanks for your time, Sarah. It's been a blast. I'm
Thank you.
hoping to publish this on Monday or Sunday,
Great.
and what we'll do, we'll enjoy our Christmases and we'll get together after Christmas. Yeah,
And it feels good to feel good, Alex.
absolutely.
It feels
So,
good to feel good.
so guys, all your viewers, I hope you've enjoyed the interview. Sarah is definitely good fun, and we've got loads more to talk about. I mean, I've said this at the beginning. I want to talk about female issues because I think it's sadly,
Yeah.
it's not out there enough, and I think it would really encourage a lot more women to consider changing their nutrition. There's so many benefits we can get. So, guys, please check out. It's not Healthy Carnivore; it's Imperfect Carnivore UK.
It's all
Uh,
sorts, really.
yeah, she's been a carnivore for 9 years, in and out, and I think seems more determined than ever. So, guys, thanks for watching today, and Sarah, thanks very much. And
Thank you so
I'll
much.
keep in touch, and we'll do another one after Christmas.
Amazing. I'll do that. Thank you
Okay,
so much, Alex.
okay.
Take care.
Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye bye.
Bye.